1521, a year etched in fire and blood. In the distant east, an empire rose to defy European might. Not with gunpowder alone, but with unyielding spirit, a sultanate dared to make Europe bleed. Their pride shattered, their dominance challenged. This was Aceh, and this was the battle they could not win. For centuries, the spice routes of Southeast Asia fueled global empires, a network of unimaginable wealth. These waters were a prize, coveted by emerging European powers seeking to control the world's riches. Portugal, a naval titan, carved out an empire, seizing strategic ports with unyielding ambition and force. Their caravels and carracks dominated the seas, establishing an iron grip on the lucrative spice trade. For many, European dominance seemed inevitable, a rising tide that would engulf all who stood in its way. But in the shadows of this encroaching power, a new force was stirring, the Sultanate of Aceh. Positioned at the crossroads of empires, Aceh was not just a kingdom, but a burgeoning maritime power. Its harbors pulsed with trade, drawing merchants from across Asia, forging a robust, independent economy. Under wise leadership, Aceh cultivated strength, unity, and a fierce resolve to protect its sovereignty. They were not to be underestimated. A people forged in resilience, ready to defend their homeland. As Portuguese ambition expanded, an inevitable collision course was set with this defiant Eastern kingdom. The stakes were immense: control over vital sea lanes, immense wealth, and the very future of regional power. Europe sought to dictate terms, to impose its will, believing its technological might was simply invincible. But Aceh harbored an audacity, a spirit of defiance that few European powers had yet encountered. They understood the strategic importance of their position, a gateway to the riches of the Eastern world. The encroaching shadow of Europe loomed large, threatening to extinguish the light of independent kingdoms. In the pivotal year 1521, this rising tide would meet an immovable object, the Sultanate of Aceh. It was a confrontation that would redefine naval power, showcasing Eastern resolve against Western might. This is the story of how a seemingly nascent sultanate made Europe bleed, defying all expectations. The dawn of the 16th century ignited a global transformation. Empires clashed, and new horizons beckoned across vast oceans. Europe, spurred by ambition and economic hunger, turned its gaze east. A quest for unparalleled wealth began. Beyond gold and glory, an even greater prize awaited. The coveted spices of the East, empires would rise and fall. Portugal, a small nation on the Atlantic edge, pioneered the age of discovery. Their ships dared the unknown. Prince Henry's legacy built a maritime empire. Portuguese navigators pushed the boundaries of the known world. Bypassing traditional routes, Portugal forged a new path around Africa. Their audacious journey reshaped global trade. Vasco da Gama's arrival in India shattered old monopolies. The direct route to the east was now open. With brutal efficiency, Portugal established fortified trading posts. Their presence rapidly solidified across critical territories. For centuries, the Indian Ocean thrived as a vibrant network. Diverse cultures exchanged silks, spices, and ideas. Arab, Indian, Malay, and Chinese merchants formed a complex, peaceful tapestry. Their ancient roots brought prosperity. Immense wealth flowed through these ancient sea lanes. Control of this trade meant unprecedented power and riches. At the heart of this vast network lay Malacca. It was the undisputed jewel of Southeast Asian commerce. Merchants from across Asia flocked to its shores. Malacca was a bustling, cosmopolitan gateway to untold fortunes. Portugal harbored a bold, ruthless strategy: control the spice trade. They aimed to dominate global commerce. Their goal: bypass the Venetian and Genoese middlemen. Direct access meant unimaginable profits for the crown. The grand vision was the Estado da India, a powerful seaborne empire stretching across the Eastern Hemisphere. Superior naval technology and aggressive tactics defined Portuguese power. Their formidable fleet was unmatched on the waves. Ambition fueled conquest. Portugal sought to monopolize the most lucrative commodities, whatever the cost. Malacca's wealth was legendary, a magnet for adventurers and empires. Its strategic location was unparalleled. It was the vital gateway to the Spice Islands and China. Whoever controlled Malacca controlled the East. The powerful Sultanate of Malacca presided over this prosperity, a formidable force, but now threatened. Portugal's gaze inevitably fell upon Malacca. Its strategic value was too immense to ignore, too tempting. In 1511, Afonso de Albuquerque led his formidable armada. Their destination, the heart of Asian trade. The siege of Malacca was brutal. Portuguese artillery pounded the city walls, unleashing a terrifying onslaught. Fierce street battles erupted. Malaccan defenders, though brave, were ultimately outmatched by European firepower. After weeks of relentless struggle, Malacca fell, a pivotal moment, reshaping the balance of global power forever. The immediate impact was devastating for regional powers. Centuries of established trade routes were brutally disrupted. Muslim traders, once dominant, faced direct Portuguese hostility. Their commercial networks were suddenly under threat. Across the archipelago, a deep resentment simmered. Portugal's dominance was met with defiance, not acceptance. Malacca's fall set the stage for inevitable conflict. The fight for spice and sovereignty had only just begun. The year is 1511. Malacca, jewel of the spice trade, has fallen, its bustling market silenced by European cannons. Portuguese control choked the vital arteries of commerce, demanding tribute and dictating terms across the Indian Ocean. But in the chaos, a new dawn broke. A power vacuum emerged, ripe for a formidable new contender to rise. Enter Aceh. Perched at Sumatra's northernmost tip, its location was an unrivaled geographical advantage. It offered a crucial alternative for traders seeking to circumvent the heavily guarded Portuguese stronghold of Malacca. Aceh became the crossroads of continents, where east met west, and ancient trade routes were revitalized. Its natural, well-protected harbors welcomed fleets, offering safe refuge and efficient loading for global commerce. This strategic position was no accident. It was a carefully cultivated advantage, attracting merchants and wealth. Aceh's ports hummed with activity, a testament to its burgeoning economic power, defying European monopoly. From its rich lands flowed pepper and gold. Its markets overflowed with spices, textiles, and precious metals. Pepper, in particular, became Aceh's black gold, a commodity fueling its rapid expansion and influence. Ships from across the known world converged here. Aceh was becoming the new, indispensable nexus of global trade. The wealth generated transformed the Sultanate, funding grand ambitions and solidifying its formidable position. Aceh skillfully controlled these burgeoning routes, ensuring prosperity and strategic leverage in a contested world. Beyond economics, Aceh fostered a network of solidarity. It became a beacon for Muslim traders worldwide. As a devout Islamic sultanate, Aceh offered a trusted haven, free from European Christian interference and control. Diplomatic ties flourished. Aceh forged alliances with powerful Muslim states, including the distant Ottoman Empire. This shared faith forged powerful bonds, uniting diverse communities under the banner of common resistance. Aceh emerged as a protector, safeguarding Muslim shipping and offering an unyielding shield against European aggression. Its influence grew exponentially, drawing in disaffected traders and consolidating a powerful anti-European bloc. Aceh's cultural foundations were as strong as its economic prowess, rooted in a vibrant Islamic identity. Grand mosques and learning centers flourished, cultivating scholars and poets, enriching society and governance. A robust legal system, founded on Islamic principles, ensured stability, justice, and societal harmony for all. Efficient administration and strong leadership cultivated a well-ordered society, poised for both prosperity and defense. This unity, forged in faith and strong governance, created an independent force, resilient and determined. Beyond trade, Aceh built formidable military strength. Fortifications rose, and disciplined armies trained relentlessly. Its burgeoning navy, equipped with cannons, was quickly becoming a force to be reckoned with on the open seas. The Sultanate stood as an independent power, a testament to its people's resilience and unyielding spirit. Aceh was no longer merely a trading post. It was a sovereign power, ready to challenge Europe's maritime dominance. The stage was set. Aceh, a rising titan of the East, prepared to make Europe bleed for its audacious ambitions. By 1519, the Sultanate of Aceh was a rising maritime power, its ambition growing with every passing year. Across the straits, Portuguese Malacca stood as a beacon of European dominance, a thorn in Aceh's side. Two titans were on a collision course, their empires vying for control of vital Indian Ocean trade routes. Sultan Ali Mughayat Siah, a visionary leader, sought to forge a powerful, independent Muslim realm. Under his command, Aceh built a formidable navy, ready to challenge any European encroacher in its waters. Portuguese vessels, once unchallenged, now sailed with increasing trepidation through these disputed seas. Tensions escalated into sporadic skirmishes, a prelude to the devastating conflict that would soon engulf the region. The fragile peace shattered. A gathering storm was on the horizon, threatening to plunge the east into chaos. Achenese raiders struck first, targeting isolated Portuguese ships, testing the resolve of their European rivals. Initially, the Portuguese dismissed these acts as mere piracy, underestimating the growing audacity of Aceh. But Sultan Ali's strategy was precise. He meticulously gathered intelligence, identifying vulnerable Portuguese targets. Unsuspecting, a Portuguese carrack charted its course, unaware that it sailed directly into Aceh's deadly trap. In 1519, the Achenese executed a cunning ambush, luring Gaspar da Costa's ship into a perilous trap. With overwhelming speed, the disguised prahus revealed their true nature, swarming the Portuguese carrack from all sides. The Achenese warriors, disciplined and fierce, quickly overwhelmed the unprepared Portuguese crew on board. A brief, brutal struggle ensued. Portuguese courage was no match for the sheer numbers and surprise attack. Gaspar da Costa, a significant Portuguese officer, was captured alive, a valuable prize for the Sultanate. His crew met a far grimmer fate, mercilessly slaughtered. Their blood dyed the ship's timbers red. This audacious victory sent a clear message. Aceh was no longer a mere regional power, but a force to be reckoned with. News of da Costa's capture and the massacre slowly reached Malacca, sparking apprehension among the Portuguese. Not long after, João de Lima's caravel, the São João, anchored by a seemingly tranquil shore. Unaware of the lurking danger, a small landing party disembarked for vital supplies, their rifles momentarily forgotten. From the dense emerald jungle, Achenese ambushers sprang, catching the Portuguese sailors completely off guard. Pandemonium erupted. The sailors, scattered and unprepared, offered little organized resistance against the swift attack. Brutal hand-to-hand combat unfolded. The Achenese, fueled by fury, showed no quarter to the invaders. João de Lima fought valiantly, a desperate last stand against overwhelming odds, his fate already sealed. Within minutes, the massacre was complete. Every single member of the landing party was slain, leaving only silence. The abandoned caravel, a bloodied testament, now stood as a haunting reminder of Aceh's growing, deadly resolve. The Sultanate's ambitions grew bolder. Their next target, the strategic Portuguese trading post of Daya. Under the cloak of darkness, the Achenese fleet, a shadow armada, converged stealthily upon the unsuspecting port. The small Portuguese garrison at Daya remained oblivious, its defenses lightly manned, vulnerable to a coordinated strike. At first light, a furious assault began. Achenese warriors stormed Daya from land and sea simultaneously. With incredible ferocity, Achenese warriors breached the outer defenses, overwhelming the shocked Portuguese defenders. The valiant, outnumbered Portuguese garrison fought desperately, but were inevitably pushed back, their position untenable. The red and white banner of Aceh replaced the Portuguese standard, signifying a stunning strategic victory. Daya, a vital link in the Portuguese trade network, now lay firmly in the Sultanate's expanding grasp. News of Daya's fall struck Malacca like a thunderclap, turning Portuguese apprehension into outright fury. This was an intolerable insult. a direct challenge to Portugal's authority and supremacy in the eastern seas. The viceroy, enraged by Aceh's insolence, swore immediate and brutal retribution against the defiant sultanate. Strategic discussions quickly shifted to planning a massive punitive expedition to crush the Achenese threat. Across Malacca, a formidable fleet began to assemble. Galleons, caravels and frigates, bristling with weaponry. Thousands of hardened soldiers, eager for vengeance, boarded the warships, their resolve etched on their faces. Banners unfurled, trumpets blared. Portugal declared war. The stage was set for an epic, bloody confrontation. The mighty Portuguese armada sailed, a storm of iron and fire, determined to make Aceh bleed for its defiance. In 1521, the Portuguese Empire, master of the seas, cast its gaze upon the flourishing Sultanate of Aceh. Portugal had carved a vast maritime empire, controlling vital trade routes with unmatched naval power. But a formidable challenge emerged. Aceh's independence threatened Portugal's lucrative dominance and prestige. The order came: crush the rising sultanate. Portugal's pride demanded swift, decisive action. Thus began the preparations for the Aceh expedition, a massive undertaking to secure absolute control. Their naval strength was legendary. Majestic carracks and nimble caravels formed the core of the fleet, each vessel a floating fortress, armed with formidable artillery, crewed by experienced mariners. From their strategic base in Malacca, a formidable armada assembled, ready to project European power. Leadership fell to seasoned veterans, men forged in a century of global exploration and conquest. At the helm, commanders planned their assault, confident in Portugal's naval supremacy and military might. Accompanying the fleet were elite infantry, men hardened by countless skirmishes, eager for glory. Their weaponry was advanced, their discipline unwavering, ready to enforce the will of Lisbon. These were the shock troops of the Age of Discovery, an iron fist ready to strike. Their strategic objective was clear: subjugate Aceh, control its valuable pepper trade, and secure the strait. No longer would Aceh dictate terms. Portugal intended to eliminate any challenge to its supremacy. This expedition was a statement: challenge Portugal and face its wrath. It was a matter of empire. The vast fleet, propelled by ambition and pride, sailed west towards a destiny yet unwritten. But across the vast Malacca Strait, the Sultanate of Aceh refused to yield its freedom. A fiercely independent realm, Aceh thrived, a hub of commerce and Islamic scholarship. They had observed Portugal's expansion. They understood the existential threat looming on the horizon. Intelligence flowed back to the Sultan. Portugal's intentions were clear. Invasion was imminent. Sultan Ali Mughayat Sia, a leader of vision and courage, rallied his people. Aceh's defense strategy centered on strong fortifications and leveraging its knowledge of local terrain. Coastal defenses rose. Earthworks, wooden palisades, and hidden traps fortified vital landing spots. Local foundries worked tirelessly, crafting powerful cannons to repel the invaders from the sea. The capital city itself became a fortress, its ramparts strengthened, its gates secured. Aceh's military capabilities were diverse. Skilled infantry, renowned for their ferocity and agility. War elephants, formidable living tanks, prepared to crush Portuguese formations on land. Their unique weaponry, combined with guerrilla tactics, offered a stark contrast to European combat. Aceh's own fleet, though smaller, comprised swift, maneuverable vessels capable of harassing larger ships. Commanders instilled fierce loyalty, defending their homeland, their faith, their very way of life. The people rallied behind their sultan, a unified front against the encroaching European power. This was not merely a military campaign. It was a desperate defense of their sovereignty and identity. Every hill, every river, every village was integrated into a meticulously planned defense strategy. They planned to draw the Portuguese inland, to negate their naval advantage, to fight on their terms. Their determination was unwavering. Aceh would not become another European colony without a fight. The Sultan's speeches echoed through the land, invoking courage, patriotism, and religious duty. From farmers to seasoned warriors, All stood ready to defend their sacred land and their freedom. The spirit of resistance burned bright. Aceh was ready to make Portugal bleed for every inch. Two powers, two vastly different worlds, now hurtled towards an unavoidable and bloody confrontation. The calm before the storm, both sides had made their preparations. The moment of truth approached. Portugal expected an easy victory, a swift subjugation. They underestimated Aceh's resolve. This was more than a battle for trade. It was a collision of civilizations, a fight for survival. The stage was set. Europe's might against Eastern resolve. A clash of empires was now inevitable. In 1521, a Portuguese armada, bristling with ambition, set its sights on the powerful Sultanate of Aceh. Hopes for easy conquest fueled their advance. They landed with overwhelming force, anticipating swift victory. The disciplined columns, hardened by countless campaigns, seemed unstoppable. Their confidence was palpable. Commander Jorge de Albuquerque, a veteran of conquest, led the charge. He embodied European ambition, but unseen eyes watched their every move. The Sultanate of Aceh was ready, prepared to defend its lands. Ignoring the jungle's oppressive silence, the invaders pressed deeper. They believed Aceh would bend easily. The treacherous terrain, a labyrinth of shadows and unseen dangers, concealed Aceh's deadly intentions. Yet, a growing sense of unease began to permeate the Portuguese ranks. The jungle held its breath. Then, a distant, rhythmic thrum echoed through the trees. It was the drumbeat of impending war. The Portuguese knew their moment had arrived. They braced for the inevitable clash in the unforgiving jungle. Suddenly, the jungle erupted. Achenese warriors, a blur of motion, sprang from their hidden positions. A deadly storm of projectiles assailed the Portuguese vanguard, a shocking greeting from the jungle. The disciplined Portuguese quickly formed a shield wall, attempting to stem the relentless, unexpected assault. The clash was immediate and ferocious. Steel met kris. A symphony of deadly intent filled the air. The Achenese fought with unparalleled ferocity, defending their homeland with every ounce of their being. The jungle became their enemy. Heavy armor and rigid formations proved ill-suited for this chaotic battlefield. Achenese mastery of the terrain transformed the jungle into a weapon, turning every shadow into a threat. Then, the thunderous roar of Achenese artillery echoed, tearing through Portuguese ranks with lethal precision. Casualties mounted rapidly as Portuguese discipline began to fracture under the relentless, overwhelming assault. Albuquerque, resolute despite the carnage, pushed his beleaguered forces onward, determined to achieve victory. From his vantage point, Sultan Ali Mughayat Siah orchestrated the defense, a true master of war. A cunning, flanking maneuver unfolded. Achenese warriors emerging from the jungle's depths, unseen until now. Caught between two fires, Portuguese formations shattered. The disciplined ranks dissolved into desperate chaos. The battlefield descended into pandemonium. Portuguese soldiers, isolated, faced an overwhelming enemy. Then, the earth trembled. Achenese war elephants, ancient engines of destruction, charged, instilling terror. Panic seized the Portuguese. Their rigid formations dissolved into a frantic, desperate retreat from the behemoths. The Achenese, sensing victory, pressed their advantage relentlessly. The tide had definitively turned. Albuquerque, a solitary figure amidst the rout, attempted to rally his broken army, a last, desperate plea. Everywhere, the fighting was savage. Portuguese desperation met Achenese fury in a climactic, brutal struggle. The shattered Portuguese remnants fought for survival, clawing their way back toward the distant, unreachable ships. As hope dwindled, fresh Achenese reserves surged forward, delivering the decisive, final blow. The Portuguese lines buckled and broke. Exhaustion and demoralization had taken their inevitable toll. An Achenese general, inspiring his men, led a thunderous charge, shattering the last vestiges of resistance. The proud Portuguese banner fell, symbolically marking the total collapse of their ambitious expedition. Albuquerque, wounded and surrounded, made his final defiant stand. His fate was sealed. Achenese warriors swarmed over the last Portuguese pockets. Resistance was futile. their defeat absolute. The path to the ships was cut. Trapped, the Portuguese faced annihilation. Their retreat became a rout. Caught between the relentless Achenese and the unforgiving sea, their fate was sealed. No escape. The Sultan watched the climax of his tactical brilliance. Aceh had made Europe bleed, securing a monumental victory. Albuquerque, refusing surrender, launched a final desperate lunge, meeting his inevitable fatal end. The Portuguese commander, Jorge de Albuquerque, fell. His ambition and life extinguished on Achenese soil. His demise marked the crushing defeat of the Portuguese. Aceh had emerged triumphant against colonial might. The remaining Portuguese scattered, a broken, defeated force. Their once proud invasion had crumbled into dust. The Battle of Aceh 1521 was a resounding triumph, a testament to the Sultanate's unwavering courage and might. The once invincible Portuguese armada, broken and reeling, retreated from Aceh's shores, a humiliating defeat. The waters off Aceh became a watery grave, a stark testament to the ferocity of the battle and Portugal's losses. Shockwaves of disbelief and despair rippled through the Portuguese command. Their pride shattered, their mission failed. On land, the Achenese celebrated their hard-won victory. Spoils of war cemented their triumph and resilience. For years, the myth of Portuguese invincibility had held sway. Aceh shattered that illusion, sowing deep disillusionment. Whispers of dissent and questioning filled the ranks. Morale plummeted as the cost of empire became painfully clear. Reports of the defeat reached Goa and Lisbon, painting a grim picture of loss, questioning their Asian strategy. The defeat marked a critical turning point. Portugal's strategic foothold in Southeast Asia was now dangerously exposed. Malacca, the jewel of their Asian empire, suddenly seemed vulnerable. Its impenetrable aura began to fade. Panic set in. Commanders scrambled to re-evaluate their defenses, anticipating further challenges from emboldened rivals. Merchants began to seek safer, non-Portuguese routes. The grip on crucial trade choke points was loosening. The once proud Portuguese patrols now navigated cautiously, their dominance challenged, their authority openly questioned. The electrifying news of Aceh's victory spread like wildfire, igniting hope and defiance across the region. Sultanates, previously cowed by Portuguese might, now saw a crack in the imperial armor, a chance for freedom. Emboldened, regional powers began to forge new alliances, uniting against their common European oppressor. A wave of renewed resistance swept through Southeast Asia, inspired by Aceh's daring stand against the Portuguese. Aceh's victory cemented its role as a premier trading hub, attracting merchants from far and wide. Portuguese trade suffered immensely, as former partners redirected their commerce to safer, independent ports. The established trade routes of the Indian Ocean irrevocably shifted, bypassing Portuguese dominance for safer alternatives. Gold flowed into Aceh, solidifying its economic supremacy and bolstering its independent position in the east. Sultan Ali Mughayat Siar emerged as a formidable leader, a beacon of defiance against European expansion. The Achenese Sultanate, once a target, was now recognized as a formidable military and economic power. Aceh 1521, a defining moment, forever altering the balance of power, making Europe bleed for its ambitions. The smoke cleared over Sumatra. 1521 marked not just a battle won, but a declaration of enduring Asian power. Aceh's stunning victory over Portugal resonated far beyond its shores, fundamentally altering the region's power dynamics forever. It was a potent symbol of defiance, proving that European colonial ambitions were not invincible, inspiring countless others. The 1521 triumph ushered in Aceh's golden age, solidifying its place as a formidable regional maritime power. This pivotal moment allowed the Sultanate to consolidate power, establishing a lasting political and military hegemony. With newfound confidence and stability, Achenese trade and culture flourished, reaching unprecedented heights of sophistication. The victory amplified Aceh's influence, establishing it as a key player in the intricate tapestry of regional politics. News of Aceh's triumph spread like wildfire, sending a powerful message to other sultanates. Resistance was possible. The Achenese victory became a beacon, fueling the spirits of indigenous peoples determined to resist European encroachment. Lisbon's grand strategy was irrevocably altered. European powers learned to approach this vibrant region with new caution. Aceh's steadfast independence laid the groundwork for centuries of sustained resistance against persistent colonial threats. The lessons of 1521 spurred continuous military innovation, enhancing Aceh's formidable land and sea capabilities. Strategic coastal fortifications and a powerful, agile navy became cornerstones of Achenese defense doctrine for generations. Aceh mastered the art of diplomacy, forging crucial alliances to counter the ever-present European colonial ambitions. Centuries later, Aceh stood defiant. New European powers arrived, yet the Sultanate maintained its fierce independence, a testament to 1521. For Aceh, the victory underscored the vital importance of strategic planning and localized knowledge against superior numbers. It taught the power of naval supremacy in defending their maritime trade routes and coastal cities from invasion. Aceh refined its asymmetrical warfare, understanding that resilience and adapting terrain could defeat any European foe. For the Europeans, 1521 delivered a harsh lesson. Underestimating local powers carried grave, costly consequences. They learned that conventional European military might alone was often insufficient against determined, adaptable local resistance. Aceh's enduring independence became a beacon of sovereignty, a testament to unbroken national will against all odds. The military prowess forged in 1521 became a legendary part of Achenese identity, revered through generations. The spirit forged in 1521 echoes still. Aceh's legacy of defiance and martial strength remains an eternal inspiration. The Battle of Aceh 1521 echoed far beyond its shores, forever altering the balance of power. A small sultanate dared to defy the might of a rapidly expanding European maritime empire. Aceh, under visionary leadership, forged a formidable will, refusing to yield to foreign dominance. Against staggering odds, Aceh delivered a stunning defeat, checking European ambitions in the region. This struggle in the Malay archipelago transcends time, revealing universal truths about humanity's spirit. The spirit of resistance burns bright, a refusal to bow to tyranny, an unwavering defense of homeland. Courage, not just in battle, but in the unwavering decision to fight for sovereignty and freedom. Ingenuity and adaptation proved more potent than sheer firepower, a masterclass in strategic defense. They stood against a tidal wave of imperial ambition, proving that size does not always dictate destiny. Aceh's victory remains a powerful testament, a legacy etched into the annals of global history. It sends a clear message: even the smallest nation can rewrite the script of its own destiny. The indomitable spirit of Aceh inspires us to confront our own challenges with unwavering resolve. Aceh's unforgettable stand against a rising colonial tide changed the course of Southeast Asian history. Their story reminds us that freedom and sovereignty are worth every sacrifice, a lesson for all time.